kind of talk a little bit about this while we're waiting for a couple more people. I know a couple more people here coming. So I gave you a few different things in front of you. One of them is just the flyer on the Business Expo, which is where our final competition will be. And it starts at 8:30 a.m. The final competition will be in the morning, and we'll have a guest speaker that is going to be coming and speaking, that he's actually one of the judges. And he's going to speak to you guys for like 30 minutes, and then we'll start the competition immediately after. I should hopefully have locked in a time from the lady that's over the actual expo is supposed to get with me on an exact time. But after the pitch preliminaries, when I call to notify you if you made it into it, we have to limit it down to, I'm not sure how many. I know it will depend on time-wise, how much time we have. We're looking at possibly limiting it down to like the top 10, just to keep it within a couple of hours. So I will notify you and let you know either way if you've made it to the top 10 and what time we're going to be starting. So everyone will just have to be there at the same time, and then you'll be told the order that you're going to go in once you're there. So we'll kind of go from there. Does anybody have any questions about the actual expo that's coming on the 19th? Yeah?
Is anything going to change as far as 5 minutes instead of the 3, or is it,
No,
is
it's
it
going to stay the same. It's going to stay exactly the same.
Different as far as visual aid?
No, it'll be exactly the same. So you're kind of just getting a practice mock run with the preliminary, and then everything will be exactly the same for on the stage at the conference center. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the speech, we will take the minutes that we are allowed to. Is any time fluctuation to set up? I mean, when we start
Yes,
speaking, it
so
will have the time. And the time
everyone,
for next, right?
you have a total of 10 minutes in each slot.
Total.
So you have to get in, get set up quickly. You have 6 minutes to do your pitch. So that's basically giving you 2 minutes to set up and 2 minutes to tear down, and then your slot time's up.
Okay, so 10 minutes total. With setup and all.
Your slot will be a 10-minute slot, so it's got to be really quick.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's about 5 after, so I'll get started. If anyone else struggles in, then I forgot to put the sign in I made a sign saying we were up here, but I forgot to put it in the little holder. So I will introduce myself if any of you don't know me or haven't met me yet. I'm Lori Hassel. I'm the hub manager and over the pitch competition. I'm super excited that you're all here and that you've all entered. I think that hopefully some of the things that we'll go over and talk about will be helpful to you. Feel free to call anytime you want additional help. I'm here to help you succeed, and I want each of you to win. So I'm really wanting to do anything I can. So if you have any questions or any problems or anything that you need, don't hesitate to reach out, because that's what I'm here for. So I hope that you can take everything that we're going to talk about today into your daily lives, whether it's doing this pitch competition or when you meet someone on the street and they say, hey, what do you do? I feel like this kind of incorporates will help you practice for everything that you're going to do here on out, to just get your message across, to come on in. We just barely started. So, it's one of those things that I think that these tools will help you in every situation with your business. When you run across people, it's going to help you to be able to narrow in and strike interest with everyone that you talk to about your pitch. So, if you need internet, it's on the board right there, or if anyone wants a drink, right there in the cooler, help yourself. So I will go ahead and get started. I didn't want to make everybody feel uncomfortable and have you tell everyone what you're doing. Maybe we could just say names, say who you are. I'd love to at least do introductions. it's kind of a tricky thing. I had a guy that he's not doing the pitch competition because his biggest concern is, so what are you doing to prevent people from stealing your bids or, running and going and doing it? Hopefully you guys are already a step ahead of that and you're starting it. There's nothing we can do to prevent that. And I'm sure you've seen the liability form that we fill out. That is, legitimate concern that we don't want that to happen, but hopefully you guys will already have the jump on anything that's going to be started and you'll sell yourself and sell your own business. And if somebody tries to come along and copy it, there's really nothing that we can do about that. Let's go ahead and start with names. I'll just start up here in this corner and we'll work our way through the rows.
My name's Jenny Paulson.
My name is Guy, whatchamacallit.
Janelle Gearing.
Crystal Allen. Tiffany Jackson.
Cody Welch.
And Jackson Dancy.
Alan Nicole.
Judith McCarroll.
I'm Anthony Lee.
Benson.
Great, thank you all so much for coming. So first off, I'm a lot of the things you'll hear the term elevator pitch. And that's a term that's often used in these speed pitch competitions. And an elevator pitch has kind of a little bit of a theme behind it, how you're supposed to, just target where you're wanting to do with it. And the actual kind of joke and quote in a lot of elevator pitch things is that you'll be able to be in an elevator with someone and go from the top to the bottom floor and be able to tell them what you do and they completely understand it. So hopefully we can kind of go through the tips on, what exactly we're going to do. First thing that I want to kind of talk about and bring up, which may be just common sense that everybody will know, think about what you're going to wear and how you're going to present yourself. I've watched hundreds of pitch competitions now in preparing for this last couple of months. And there's people that, for example, if they were doing a dog grooming business, they showed up to do their pitch in scrubs that had little cats and dogs all over it. Or if you're wanting to come across as a business professional, come dressed as a business professional. I feel like it's important to, that's your very first impression. That's what they're gonna see, style, because your personality isn't the first thing people see. The first thing they see is gonna be you and how you present yourself. So put some thought into that, and if you can theme and go along with what your business is, I think that's kind of fun and even better. You never get a second chance to make a great first impression. So right when you come up, that's the first thing the judges are gonna see, what you're wearing and your appearance. Then you're going to start out with your introduction. And that is really important. I think that a lot of people get nervous, and when you're practicing and doing your spiel, make sure that you first off introduce yourself. Make sure that you tell a little bit about yourself, but make it simple and quick. It's good to include anything brief about yourself that has to do with your business. I always like to think of this as a job interview, and panelists usually first tell us a little bit about yourself. And in response, interviewees often launch headlong into a recital of their lifelong story, but that's not what interviewers want to hear. It's uninteresting and forgettable. So keep it short. I think it's great if you, in your introduction, if you can say, I'm Lori Haslam, and I'm an innovation specialist, and I like to help businesses to succeed. And so just kind of, if you can incorporate in your introduction of you and why you're doing what you're doing, I think that's a great keep it very short, very brief. I think another important part, my daughter lived in Japan for a while, so I have a little bit of a bond with anything Japanese. It became a big part of our home while she was in Japan. And there's this term that's called Ikigai. I'm probably saying it wrong. I actually listened to it on my phone, and I'm probably saying incorrectly. She would correct me. but it's a reason for being the thing that gets you up in the morning. And I think that you can really incorporate that into your business pitch, what you're doing. I think that it's key to be able to get your passion across, and you have a copy of this actually in the print copies that I gave you, not as beautifully colored as mine, but you know, if it's what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for and what you're good at, then you just kind of incorporate that in with your passion, your mission, your profession, and your vocation, and it all goes together. And if you are doing something that you love and you're passionate about, it's going to show. And if you can make it show in your pitch, I feel like that will go so far with the judges. I had someone talk to me about what they were wanting to do with their pitch, and they weren't really sure. And then they shared to me like a little personal aspect of what they're doing. And it had this great cause behind it, great meaning that was going to bring value, maybe not super dollars to what they're doing, value to the community, value to other people. And to me, that's huge. I feel like that's a great component to bring into whatever you're doing in life. It's going to make you a lot happier if you do. The next thing that is, so to go along with that, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so many successful businesses have a great reason why. This is called the golden circle. You will see this over and over and over again. I liked this one because it not only had the golden circle, but it also had this pyramid that kind of broke it down as well. And these are really important components with any pitch that you're going to do and with any business that you do. And the three most important things is the why, how, and the what. And, you know, I love how the why is, you know, your vision, which is the whole base of what you're doing. And then the how is your strategy, how you plan to accomplish it. And the what is whatever it is, your product or whatever your thing is that you're doing. So you'll see this repetitively throughout everything that you do to prepare for the pitch, through the worksheets that I've given you, through the things that we'll talk about. These three elements are key to just narrowing in your pitch, and really think about these elements when you're preparing. Keep it short and snappy. That is something I'm going to say time and time again, that is so important to keep in mind, that you have to keep it short and snappy. When you're writing out your pitch, I want everybody should practice writing out your pitch. You should just start kind of putting key components together, and hopefully some of the things that I'm giving you will help you to kind of gauge that and put those things together. You want to grab your listener's attention by identifying a pain point. Does anybody know what a pain point is? They talked about it in the class we did earlier today, and you'll hear it a lot. And so what a pain point is it's a specific problem that prospective customers of your business are experiencing. In other words, you can think of pain points as problems, plain and simple. Like any problem, customer pain points are as diverse and varied as your prospective customers themselves. So, you know, every business you have is going to have a pain point. Every single one of them. I can't think of anything you could ever do that won't have a pain point. Solve a problem for the listener, summarize what you do, and open the door to questions. I think that opening that door at the end of your pitch is going to be really great, especially if you kind of want to go with a direction with, you know, how you're going to do it. Because they're going to be asking you questions. And so, you know, to kind of wrap it up with leaving that door open. The panel has probably interviewed 10 other candidates already that day. So you want to make sure you're the only one they remember. start by opening with something related to the business you're doing. I'm gonna just kind of walk through a couple of examples that will help you to kind of, gauge some of these key points on the how, what, and why. Like if I was gonna be doing a mock one, and I apologize for anybody that's heard this story before, but I really use it a lot because it's a personal business experience that my husband and I had that as I read all this information, it's like we didn't even know it, but we were following all the steps that we should have been. So like in my introduction, I would love to start out with, hi, I'm Maureen Haslam. My husband and I love boating. That's something we've done since our kids were really little. We had a boat before we were married, and always throughout our kids growing up, that was something every holiday we used to love to go to Flame Gorge, to Stanaker, Red Fleet, wherever we could go with our boating. But we got tired of going around on holidays, 24th of July, 4th of July, and everybody was out of ice. And it was so frustrating. We started being strategic. Okay, let's buy our ice a week before everybody buys it out. So we make sure we have ice. We'd be up on the gorge, out of ice. So the next step, solve the problem. So we decided to start an ice business. And trust me, everyone thought we were crazy. I had one aunt say to me, isn't ice like 99 cents a bag? Thinking, you're insane. How are you gonna make an income selling ice when it's 99 cents a bag? How can anybody make any money at that? So we went around to all the local businesses and we asked them questions, and we hit every one we could think of that we knew sold a lot of ice. How much ice do you average? How much do you sell in a month? Those type of questions. We looked into the price of bags. We looked into the little ties, every little aspect of mathematically staring out, okay, how much ice do we have to sell to be able to pay for this ice equipment? And what do we need to do? But our first step was reaching out to the customers. And we would say to them, we notice you're out of ice every year, 4th of July. And every one of them had the same response. Yeah, it's shipped in from Salt Lake. By the time they get to Bernal, they've delivered all the ice to everybody, and we're last on the totem pole. Well, would you be willing to switch to somebody else if they promised you that you would not run out of ice? And you can imagine what the response was. Heck yeah, we'll switch if you promise us that we won't run out of ice. So, we kind of entice them with a guarantee, which, you can go to your customers and have something like that. If you know of an existing business and you know you can do a better job, you know that you can do a better service, don't hesitate, one up them and improve your customer service. So then just to kind of summarize what we did, we did our homework, number one. Well, first we see the problem, then we did our homework to make sure there was going to be something that was even feasible. And that was a lengthy process. It wasn't just, oh, we're going to do this. We looked into every aspect of the expenses of it, labor, the machines, the bags, the ties, everything that I mentioned. So then we went out and, we made sure with our customer base that we had the customers there. These are important steps because it could be something that you have this great pitch idea and the judges say to you, is anybody going to want to buy that? Is anybody going to want to do that? Is that even something that people need or want? So, if you want to make sure that you have a little bit of baseline, and I encourage you that if you haven't done it yet, go out and ask, go out and find people, go out and just kind of fill the market. I think it's crucial that if the judges ask you, you can back it up and say, yeah, I went around to every business and asked them, or I went around to this market of people, or just make sure that you have your background legwork in place. And then the opening the door to questions, I would just say something like, I'm excited to be here with you today. I can't wait to share with you more about how I plan to make this business succeed. So I'm opening the door of I'm gonna do this, and you wanna be confident. If you're not confident in what you're doing and why you're doing it, why would the judges be confident in you? When I originally wanted to start this project of doing this business pitch idea, before I had the idea of doing the preliminary and we were put on such a short notice, I didn't wanna just have applications sent in. And the biggest reason behind that, I thought, well, I'll just do a video submission. I'll have everybody submit a video with a little pitch of why they're doing what they're doing. Because I know without a doubt that some things that people come to me with on paper, I could be thinking, that's a dumb idea, or who's gonna do that? But then I meet this dynamic, confident person that knows their stuff, and they come out with, their personality, their drive. That's gonna go a long ways with the judges. And actually, I had this same discussion with one of the judges. And he has had many people. He's been an investor in our community. He's going to be one of the preliminary judges. And he point blank said to me that same thing. I'll meet certain people and I'm not completely sold on the idea, but I'm sold on them. And so you want the judges to be sold on you and what you can offer and what you're going to bring to the plate. And your enthusiasm and your confidence is going to radiate through your pitch. When you attend anything in the community and any kind of networking or anything that you do, you're going to meet people that maybe have that short amount of time. After the event, which ones are you more likely to remember? The ones who love the sound of their own voice, who drone on and on and on, but never seem to get to the point, are ones who can tell you what they do in a short, snappy sentence. Sometimes, and even just since I've been working here, people will tell me about their ideas and 30 minutes later they leave and I'm like, I don't even totally understand what that person is gonna do. And I taught a class for 2 years on starting your own business. And we had one session that we would let them come and share their ideas. There were so many times after the class, I really didn't even get a complete, I wish I would have had these ideas to help them narrow it in, because you're always going to be in situations and in groups that you can share your idea, keep it short, keep it snappy. I'd love to, hear about different ideas, but if you're all over the place with all your ideas and you go on and on and on and on and on, they're not even going to remember what you're doing. That's why a well-rehearsed elevator pitch is an absolute must-have when you attend anything that potential clients are going to be at. So, tips for delivering a slick elevator pitch. Practice, practice, practice. In the morning while you're putting your makeup on, in the car while you're driving to work, you can even practice delivering your pitch to your pet cat or your dog or even your rabbit. They're awesome listeners. It's better to practice saying your pitch out loud. Better still, record it. Record on your phone. Most phones you can record somehow. You can do audio. Record it, listen to it. Listen to how you sound. A lot of problems when people get nervous is they talk too fast. They start just, that's a big thing is people talk too fast. If your tongue gets dry, bite the end of your tongue and your mouth will start to water. I learned that tip years ago when I used to do demonstrations. Don't speak too fast. Try to sound natural. That's the biggest thing too. Is you definitely don't want to be trying to read things or sound like it's rehearsed. Practice it, be natural, and always close your pitch with a call to action. What you're going to do to, to get this motion going. You should always have your pitch prepared just in case you meet that one person who could change your life. Not only customers and clients, but you never know when an investor is going to hear your idea. I can tell you right now, there's some investors floating around Vernal just looking for ideas. One of them is going to be one of our judges. I wouldn't be surprised if he really likes, whether you place or not, if he really likes your idea, he might come to you and say, hey, I really liked your pitch. I think it's a great thing. How would you feel about some people investing in your company? It's a potential that you never really know who you could meet and when they could join on that. Using creative job titles and being creative in describing the work you do creates confusion, not connection. So when I meet people, I don't tell them I'm an innovation specialist, because what are 99% of people going to say? What is that? They've never heard of an innovation specialist. Don't try to be fancy. Don't try to be creative. Be to the point of what you do, and that will help people understand what you do. When you only have a couple of seconds to make an impression, too many of us are blowing the opportunity by being confusing about our business category or our job title. Tell me if you've heard something like this. I'm a chief innovation officer. I run a catalyst company for a dynamic business owner. I'm a thoughtful leader and distributor. Oh, I do a lot of things. I'm a coach, a speaker, a fitness instructor. If you ramble on with all kinds of things, these answers are perplexing. And if we've never met you before, they don't communicate quickly what you do. And I don't know where to start with what to talk about to you. So if people don't understand what you're doing, then they're not going to ask you questions or want to know more. To more clearly communicate what you do, avoid the creative titles and get specific about your category up front. That's another thing that can be confusing too. If you're not specific on exact category of where you fall and what your niche is, that gets confusing. So there's kind of some exercises that will help you. So get clear about your category, get out a sheet of paper and brainstorm your version of 1 or 2 categories your work or business falls into. We're looking to find what you're going to tell people in general, non-targeted settings. Essentially, what is your version? So just, that is something to think about. Just narrowing it down to that one or two things. And I'll say it again, keep it snappy. Here are the rules. No creative job titles. Your mom needs to understand what you pick and what you're doing. If your mom doesn't understand, you're in trouble. Pick the broad category your business falls under. Pick no more than 2 things. Try for 1 if possible. So that gets really confusing too when someone is going on and on and on about they're going to do this, and do this, and do this, and do this, and do this. Just kind of narrow in on what your main objective is. And then if you need to kind of go branch into one of the divisions, you can, but try to keep it at 1. Pick 1 to 2 most important things you do. The things you are most often looking for referrals and connections for. So, if maybe you do a bunch of stuff, but what do you mainly want clients to come to you for? What's your main target audience? So some inspiration for getting started on a clear message. How much story belongs in your short verbal business introduction? Aside from being too creative, I see entrepreneurs getting tripped up on the pressure of communicating their story that they say too much. Let's talk about the right balance, how to, keep that. When you talk about what you do, this is so important. If I could rip this off and send it to everyone, I would, because this is the most important thing. When you talk about what you do, realize that you don't have to tell the whole story. You only have to tell just enough of the story to get people interested. This one is so key, and it goes right along with this business pitch and keeping things short and keeping things concise. And even when you are in the public, when you are anywhere, keep it short and don't spill off for 30 minutes. One of the things I see happening often with small business owners is that they feel the pressure to communicate all the things that set them apart immediately. I mean, because you want to tell them, well, but I do this and I do this and I do this. It's different than whoever. Just keep it short. You don't have to, you can tell them over time and tell bits and pieces, but just keep that initial introduction short. The problem with it is that it gets overwhelming, especially to someone who is just meeting you for the first time or just hearing your idea for the first time. They're going to get so overwhelmed with what you're doing that you're going to lose them. When's the last time you really have the appropriate amount of time to clearly explain the ins and outs of all the work you do with a new person? It's rare, even a half-hour lunch meeting that gives you, a full 30 minutes to talk about what you do. You still don't know everything about their value and their business, your value in your business, I should say. So the key here is to have one clear goal of what you do, to communicate when you meet someone, and then let go of the rest. You want to pick the gateway pieces, the things that are the most interest to others in the work you do and the value you offer. I am choosing not to communicate all the following super important elements of my story and the work I do. I have to get people interested enough that they take a next step with you. That is your whole key. Keep it short, keep them interested. What's going to make them want to come to you for more? Any one of these things can be transformative. Any one of these things will give this new person more information about you and your story. So you don't need to worry about saying it all at once. And any one of these things makes you accessible instead of confusing and overwhelming upon meeting people. Here are some examples of the next step. So then in exercise 2, you're going to want to decide what you want people to do after they meet you. So building off of, your first exercise of just, describing what you do, then you want, what's your ultimate goal? What do you want? I think most people will be like, I want clients. I want people to come to me. I want people to be a part of my business. Be clear about what you do and then go back and consider it. Then think about what else you say. Write it out and decide the ideal 2 to 3 action steps you want people to take after meeting you. So, first one is to define what you want to do. Then the next one is like your action steps, what you're going to do to narrow it in. Now consider what are the most important and short 1-2 things that people need to know about your business to be interested in those options. Then trust me and ditch everything else. You don't need to sell your whole story all of the time. That's why you have a brand. You have content you create around that business, products, services, and more. So don't put so much pressure on yourself to tell it all at once. You just need to tell what matters most. So the next element is going to be to identify your clear job title and your business category. Then you're going to introduce what are your problems and how do you solve them. When you've only got 3 minutes, like this is broke down. A lot of these are broken down into segments of 30 seconds. So when you're kind of writing out your plan and trying to get your thoughts and your ideas together, be thinking each of these should take you like 30 seconds. And you need to narrow in how to get that message across as fast as possible. So when you talk about the problem that you have to solve for others, this is kind of the meat of what you do and what you should care a lot about. Because, like my biggest problem with our business was, that people didn't have eyes. That's a proven problem that now I'm going to come along with my business and solve that problem. So, if you can relay a problem in there in your steps. That's, you know, that's a big key part to, you know, the need and the viability of your business. What are the big problems you solve through products, services, or both? What changes people's lives about the work you do? Do you give people confidence, alleviate stress, create happiness? I mean, that's problems in and of itself. If you know, have a business that isn't selling a product, so to speak, that you offer massages and you can throw in there and, you know, I help alleviate people's stress by, you know, giving them this 30-minute of time. So you can incorporate that in with most businesses, that there's something that you can offer people, that whether it's, you know, family memories or just whatever it is, you can figure out something that will go along with that. It's just as important to communicate what problems are solved as much as who you solve them for. So, you know, not only am I, you know, solving the problem that Vernal's out of ice on the 4th of July, it's solving a problem for all those voters like me or campers or people, anybody that is doing different things, that's going to solve their problem too. But they're going to be happier because they're going to have cold drinks. When it comes to your service, products, or both, who do these problems solve for? Get as specific as you feel comfortable. Remember the advantage that the more targeted audience that you have, that you're helping, the better it's going to look, that you're, it's easier for others to refer you. If, you know, people are aware of a problem that you solve, then they're going to tell people, hey, you should call Janelle. She helps with this problem. She can help you. Once you've made it clear what you do, then people are going to refer you for whatever it is. This is your opportunity to tell a bit more story and set yourself apart and have the opportunity of a captive audience to do it. Define what's special about what you do in that category. So now the last one is considered like a bonus element. And I feel like this one is pretty important too. Not everybody's going to be able to do this, but if you can, it's huge. It's not required, but you know, it's something that you want to think about. It's called a tagline. What's your tagline? So it's a way of, and it's kind of hard for me to put into words how to explain it, but it makes it more memorable and reinforces your business and your brand awareness. So that's kind of what a tagline is, something just you do that you specialize in, that sets you apart, that makes you different than everybody else. Using a phrase consistently in your business throughout your marketing materials, your website, and how you verbally talk about your business makes your business all that more memorable. That is why having a tagline is often an overlooked opportunity for you as a small business owner. So, you know, if you don't have something like that to incorporate into your business, I would highly recommend it, thinking about it, something just really unique that they think, okay, I know a lot of people that sell real estate, but this agent offers, and I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, but just some little special thing that she does just for her clients that she sells to. You'll become known for that, and it will, you know, kind of set you apart. So I've printed out on your sheets, you'll see one that's called the action exercises. And that just kind of gives you, it basically is everything I just talked about, but kind of helps you to lay it out. So when you go to, you know, element 1, so this is just things, this is your homework, and I promise you it will help you to kind of put all this together. So, you know, element 1, make sure you've chosen your job title, all the things we talked about. Element 2, 3, 4, and 5, your bonus of your tagline. And then there's some exercises to help you put together sentences. What is a question you could ask that highlights a common problem that you solve, or, you know, a relatable benefit that your business provides? So, you know, if you're struggling with how to kind of put all this together, I would highly recommend just kind of going through those steps and seeing what you can come up with. So I think the next thing that I wanted to cover and go over is the rules. Just to make sure that there is no confusion on the rules. I did print everyone a copy of the rules to take with you. You would have seen these same rules I've emailed it to several of you and on your application process. First off, our cash price, that's $12,000. I'm so shocked. I honestly didn't think we'd be able to get it up that high. And I can promise you next year, I'm gonna double it. It's gonna be even higher. So it kind of goes through all your prices. I did want to make sure that everybody understood that no matter where you place, you are given a matched credit to V6 Media for advertising, and they do videos and do all kinds of stuff. So it's a minimum of $250. If you spend $250, they'll match it at $250 and give you a $500 ad. So everybody gets that regardless. And honestly, they do some amazing work. I mean, whether it's a little 30-second video, you can plaster all of the social media or show a community feed, or it can be great advertisement, and that's a really great deal that they're offering each of you. So I'll make sure and get with them, probably have some kind of a certificate or something showing that you were a participant, and you can take advantage of that. You know that the important dates, we all know those. May 7th, can't wait till Friday gets here. The application deadline. Here in this exact room is where your preliminary competition will be. And is there anybody in here that hasn't signed up for a time yet in our time slots? We're down to just like 2 slots left. And I apologize for any confusion. Time slots. I thought that I put the only one person could sign up for each slot, but I had 20 slots. So I allowed 20 people to sign up for each slot and had a little bit of confusion. So I apologize for that. I didn't realize it was allowing that many people to sign up for one spot. So then I'm thinking, I have on the sheet May 13th that the preliminary winners will be announced and notified. Where we're doing it and ending it at like 4, I possibly might contact you that night or for sure by the next day. I don't think we need to clear till the 13th to let you know if you qualified or not. I want to let you know as soon as possible so that you can, if you want to improve and you want to, go farther with your pitch, you can. You'll have more time. And then May the 19th, final competition. And I already mentioned that it will be in the morning, and it will probably last, you need to probably plan on at least until noon, I'm betting, because by the time we have our judge that's going to speak to us for 30 minutes, and then we'll have at least 2 hours of pitches, and we will announce the winners at the actual expo that day. So, keep your morning blocked out. And
How many people go to the finals?
we haven't exactly narrowed it in. We're thinking probably about, it will depend on time, how much time we have. And that's kind of what I got from the lady that's over the expo. She's like, oh, we're gonna have to narrow it back. When I told her how many people now signed up, her first response was, we're gonna have to narrow it back because of time. So I'm hoping that we have at least 10 going to the finals, maybe more. I really don't know the answer to that yet. Hopefully I'll know by the preliminaries how many slots and how many people have signed up. And I don't want to set an exact limit on it. I mean, if there's kind of within the judges, if they're like, oh, it's kind of a tie between these two, I don't want to say, nope, it's 10. If we have 11 people that are close in that final judging, I really don't know. I'm not completely the boss, so I can't set the rules on that timeline, but
Excuse me.
the more the better.
I
Yes.
have a question, if I may. It says here on the computer that we send that the business pitch preliminary check-in is at 9:40 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. And then some of us have our presentation late that afternoon. Do we need to be there early and stay all day or?
I don't have the times yet.
Oh,
I don't, was that on something originally?
Her preliminary one was 9:40, but that's on the 11th.
well, mine is in the afternoon.
Yeah.
On the
My
preliminary.
little space, whatever I'm doing will be in the afternoon, almost to the end. But it says that we must be on the preliminary check-in at 9:40 a.m. Between 9:30 a.m. and 9:50 a.m.
So
So
do we all
that means
check?
whoever is going to
It's
be
like
presenting
here.
later that day.
She wants to know if we have to check in the morning and then come back for our appointment.
No, I'm sorry, I don't even know for sure what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's not for the final competition, right? This was for
no,
preliminary?
this one is for the business page preliminary check-in.
Okay.
And it says they are in your.
And I apologize for any confusion too, because things have changed and changed and changed, because as things have went on, there's been a lot of changes. We were gonna do it 2 days, and then, you know, the actual expo was gonna be 2 days, the preliminary was gonna be 2 days, and then I got thrown at me that, nope, 1 day. So, no, just disregard, as far as like for the preliminary, you have your set time. We ask that everyone tries to get here like 15 minutes before, 10 minutes at least, just so that you're waiting and ready to roll as soon as your time slot comes. Because it's gonna be quick and we're gonna need to get you, you know, in and.
So I don't have to
going.
be here at 9 a.m.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I
That's
don't
okay.
remember. It's been so many things going on. I don't know why that said that. But no, you just be here like 10 minutes before, and then we'll give you a specific time to be at the actual final competition. Did anybody else have another question over here?
How many judges are you going to have?
Excellent
on the
question.
preliminary?
On the preliminary, I actually don't know for sure, because I'm not setting up the judges, and I've had a hard time narrowing down the person who is on, okay, I was getting panicked. I was like, okay, who's our judges gonna be?
But you don't know if you want the same amount on the preliminary and the final.
I don't know for sure, and she just told me we're not disclosing who the judges are, we're not, so I'm not overpicking the judges. I know that the final judges, they're trying to have them all be from out of town, just to try to, you know, not cause any, you know, my cousin's wife was a judge, you know, so we want to try to prevent that in any way we can, just so that there's no bias going on. But I really don't know. I know that she talked about at one time having 5, 3. I really don't know for sure how many judges there will be.
So we're presenting for 3 minutes, 3 minutes?
3 minutes?
Will they
You
time us?
can-
Like, this
yes.
is, nope, stop,
Yes.
now it's our turn?
Yes, and I will get to that.
Oh, okay,
As
I'm
soon as
jumping
we
the
go-
gun.
Yeah, I do have a couple, little bit more information on it. So I wanted to be able to show you, but yeah. So, submissions can be entered as teams or individuals. Trying to really clarify that there's a maximum number of 5 people that can be on the stage with you during the competition. But what I have had to stress to everyone is that there's 5 people on the stage with you. They will have checks made out to them, dividing the amount. It goes to each individual that participates in the competition. They don't allow that one person gets it. When the checks are made out from UNT County, they will individually put whoever was in that competition. And you will have to provide a W-9 form with tax information and all of that.
You will be able to have others set things up real quick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They just can't be a part of your pitch. You can't, that's a great point. You can't have people help you set up and tear down just to help make it quick, especially if you've got a lot.
Because you're saying 10 minutes in the whole thing.
Right,
so you've
yeah,
got just a minute or
absolutely.
so to
Yes.
set up, and then you've got your 6, and
Yes.
then you've got a couple minutes to take down.
And no one will be allowed to watch you for the preliminary competition, but at the final competition, it's open to the public at the conference center. So people can come, they can hoop and holler and cheer for you when you're done, but they can't ask you questions, or they can't, be helping you in any way. You can only enter for one competition, on one pitch, you can only be on one team. And I don't think we've had much of a problem with that. Eligibility, we've had a lot of people from out of town want to enter our contest. And, I take pride in saying, no, sorry, you have to be a part of the Uinta Basin and having your business be in the Uinta Basin. For this year anyways, I don't know what the future will hold, but for this year, all of our contributors are from the Uinta Basin. So of course we don't want somebody from Salt Lake to come in and win our competition and start a business out there. We are doing this to improve the economy here and diversify. So I hope we always keep it just us, because, it's kind of a fun little thing that it just is within our
So we
community.
classify the Uinta Basin as our tri-county area, right?
Yes, yep, I know there's like Manila and, all, as long as you are within like Daggett County, they weren't excluded, Roosevelt, Eugene, all those are out. Must be, so I had one lady ask me about, well, I've been making these and doing this as a hobby for more than a year, but now I've decided to expand into it being a business and I'm gonna sell them. So, even though you maybe have had something in the works for years, but you weren't actually promoting it as a business or selling your product, as long as it's 1 year or younger, then you qualify. Because we want this to be something new. We don't want someone that's been doing a business for 5 years in a row and they just, decide that they want more money for the business. Pretty self-explanatory with the summary of your idea, your concept, description of your product, your proposal, target marketing characteristics, differential, competitive advantages, your revenue estimates. All those things could be things that you might want to try to incorporate in somehow, or they could be asked by the judges. You might want to be prepared for those kind of questions. No PowerPoint or slide presentations are allowed. Nothing electronic is allowed. Completely out. I kind of wondered why in the beginning. Some pitch competitions are entirely slideshow, or that's how they base it, is completely off of a base model slideshow that then you fill in the blanks and you do your pitch during it. And what I kept getting from different people that do pitch competitions is it never fails. Something goes wrong with your electronic device, you don't have to pitch. You get up there and the monitor is not working, screen isn't working, whatever it is, and it happens. It definitely happens, and you don't want to be stuck. So you're allowed to have any visuals you want. You can have as much as you want around you. You can have big banners, you can have posters, you can have pictures, you can have signs. Feel free to have however much you want on there.
Is it in this room, you said?
This room for the preliminary, yes. The tables will be moved and you'll have plenty of space. We'll probably have, an open area and then the judges just seated around. There won't be very many people in here. 3 minutes allocated to each team pitch member, each team, and then 3 minutes for the judges. I have been strictly told that the second your 3 minutes is up, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a sentence, you're done. And I do
So
have,
you have a system, a light system or a timer system?
yes, so this is our timer system that we've ordered. I just haven't got here yet. I wanted to have it on display to show you. It's big and it's on a tripod and you will have clear visual of it the whole time. So you'll know exactly where you're at as it's counting down. But the second that clock is done, you have to stop. So that's where it's going to come really key, that you time yourself, make sure you have everything you want to say, practice, and down to that 3 minutes, because you don't want to be halfway through an idea and you're told stop. So, that's going to be really, really strict.
Do we say when they start it? Like how we, when we start.
That's a good point. I'm probably gonna be the one running the clock, so I think I will maybe have you guys, once you're ready to roll, give me some kind of a signal, the,
First word out of your mouth would be nice.
yeah, that's true. The second you start, that probably would be good, so it isn't
My
just.
name is, I guess we'll start now.
No, that's a good valid point.
Well, because if you're,
Right.
you could be setting up still. it could be-
Exactly, yeah, so, that's a
I'll tell
good
you.
way to start, the second that you start talking. I'll start the clock.
Is the final also 3 minutes or?
Yes, 6 minutes total,
Okay.
3 minutes pitch, 3 minutes for the judges, it's not gonna change. Some do, some pitches kind of,
When does the 3 minutes start with the questions? Does it start when they ask the question? or start?
yeah, that's a good point too. We'll probably just I'm sure we'll set different timers, so it's not just the full 6 minutes. We'll do 3 minutes, stop the clock, let the judges think a second, they may not think of anything for 5 seconds or so. As soon as they start to ask a question, we'll start the clock on that. We talked a little bit about confidentiality, and it's not guaranteed in any way. It's a risk that you have to take along with competition. Do not include confidential material in your submission.
What does that mean?
Just, if there's something that has to go along with your business, that, it just is saying when you submitted your application, just, there's some things you don't have to divulge to everybody, that, we're gonna spend $30,000 on an ice machine. People don't need to know that. You can kind of keep some things private, just use your own discretion. We do reserve the right to take pictures and photographs, and to, especially like next year when we're promoting, we may use clips of your pitch in a class like this, or, it may be in the paper that you won and what your business is. It may not be your pitch exactly, but think of it as free advertisement too, that any winners, it will be divulged what you're doing, possibly. So, we've had to just really exclude ourselves from any of that, and hope it doesn't go on, and hope that people have integrity, but it's kind of out of our control. Prize money will be awarded and allocated in equal shares. We talked about that to each winning participant within 30 days. Then you will receive it. We do reserve the right to, that you could be audited on where the money went. We don't want you to win the money and go to Hawaii for a week. Or, the whole intention of this is that you're using it for your business. And I would just advise that you keep track of that money and where that money goes, that you document it and keep receipts. And you're gonna wanna do that anyways for your taxes, because you're gonna have to pay a lot of money on $12,000, but if you can show, I got this and this and this and this for my business, then it will help you in the long run. And then if you're ever questioned or if anything's brought up, then anybody have any questions on the rules and regulations?
We need to register and pay the $5 early bird.
No, your entry into the pitch competition is already covered, your cost of getting into it. So one more thing that I wanted to show you quickly is the judges sheet. So I don't have the exact judges sheets right now, but we did have a meeting and kind of discussed how we wanted to go about the judges sheets. And basically the judges sheets are going to be very simple and similar to this. It is going to be on a number score system of, say 1 to 5, that will be easy for the judges to look down and circle 3 or circle 5, and it'll be very descriptive on the category. And, and it will be a lot of the basic, just like one of the things in your outline, the problem or the need, the people running out of ice, the solution, what you're gonna do. That kind of stuff's gonna be on there. Traction. And I even like the idea of having one of the categories be that, you know, if you are, I love it when businesses have a mission of helping and improving other people's lives. That would be great. I'm not the final say on the judge sheet, but the Ikigai we talked about, if you have an Ikigai, I feel like that's key. That's a big thing. Or if you have something you're doing that's gonna help the youth of the community or help whoever, depressed COVID people be happy, then be sure and talk about it. So pretty simple. It will have your company name, your name, a brief description of what you do. I think the biggest thing that I want everyone to take away from this competition is whether you place or not, you're here for a reason and you're doing something that's important. There's a lot of people in the competition, and I don't want anyone to be discouraged for not placing or not winning or think that you have a terrible idea, because it doesn't always mean that. Everybody thought we had a terrible idea of doing an ice business, and no one dreamed what was going to happen with that business or the kind of money it was going to generate or what we were going to turn around and sell 4 years later. So just because people think you're crazy, you're not, and you still can let your dreams flourish, learn from this experience, take what you learn into your life and grow and expand with it. Don't downgrade your dreams to match your reality. Upgrade your belief to match your vision. So that would be my biggest, thing that I don't want anybody to be discouraged. I haven't seen a single idea come across my computer that was like, that's a bad idea. Every one of them I want, that's great. I love that idea. That's a fun one. That's different. So, expand on it, grow from it, and then go out and share it with our community. Does anybody have any further questions before we?
No, I do.
Okay.
Is there some part of the computer information that you send that we are not supposed to send paperwork or give paperwork to all the audiences or whatever?
Right.
And another part of the paperwork is also that to the judges, we can pass something simple to them. Is that
Yes,
still allowed?
so I did get clarification on that because I was a little confused even myself. So if you have a product or something that you want to give the judges, it's fine. They don't want they don't want you to hand them a stack of literature. Here, read about my business. It's mainly paper literature. But if you make cupcakes and you want to expand your cupcake business, you can pass out cupcakes to the judges and let them try them. If you, make a robot, you can let them have it on their desk or whatever. You're fine with products or doing, or if there's something fun that you do with your business that you're gonna, incorporate in, that's fine. It's mainly literature, paper literature. They don't want to be fun with any of that. So thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else? Yes.
The last presentation at the convention center, would that be televised? Do we have more of a chance if it's more entertaining? Like, is it something that's going to want to grab the audience? Because it's already a pretty awesome idea of pitching to judges. That's already entertaining and stuff. But will it be more of a chance if we have more of an entertaining pitch? Is it going to be something that's going to be put on BTV or Facebook or anything like that?
I know that they talked about recording them. I don't know the details of that.
Like maybe using it for promotional material for next year, like you were talking about.
Right,
Is it
yeah.
something that's more loud and grabbing attention and more entertaining for not only the judges, but the audience watching it? Is that more of a chance to go all the way?
I think that if it's entertaining, then judges are going to be entertained by it. So I would say that's fine.
Anthony, you are entertaining. You can't not do it. But the
I can't
theatrics,
wait
I
to
think
see what
is,
you do.
theatrics a little bit is, I mean, too much theatrics, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
no, who you
Why,
are,
this
this
is
is what you do.
Because I need to turn it down.
You know, and that's the thing that, some of the beginning things that I was looking into when I first was developing the ideas and the timelines and everything going on. And one of the biggest things that they stress is that literally a awesome pitch can be you just standing up there by yourself and letting people know what you do. Sometimes people get so lost in the theatrics and they lose the whole idea, and keeping in mind the 3 minutes of what you need to get across to the judges, how you get it across the best, and narrowing that down. So, you know, that's a really key thing, is to not, you know, get lost in theater and side effects and all of that. Getting your message across, someone standing in front of the judges and just saying, I'm doing this and this is why, could be just as powerful as someone that has awesome displays and, you know, keep it roped in.
Or be okay to have somebody record us on the first one, so we can look at that and maybe improve, try to improve for the second one.
That's a good question. I know that I don't see why not, but I probably better ask about that, because originally I was told that no one will be allowed to come in and watch you do your preliminary.
You guys set it up yourself.
Yeah.
Try
If
to.
you
Yeah.
run for the whole 10 minutes, then it would be.
Yeah, you probably could. I know that they just didn't want anybody else in the room, the judges and, you know, people over it. But I can clarify
If you're
that.
having people set things up at the final, then
Yeah, when
Yeah,
people get
people
up, you
set
set
up-
up for the
set
preliminary,
up for the
but then the
preliminary
second they
meeting.
get you set up, they have to exit. So that, you know, I do know that they did specify that no one could watch on that. But I'll make sure and find out for you. Any other questions? These are great questions. No question is a dumb question.
I asked you earlier today, so there's booth spaces available at the convention center as well.
Uh-huh. There is.
Can we, even though we have allocated time dedicated to the final pitch contest, and if we do go to the finals, is it advised or is it okay if we get a booth to promote our business? Because this is kind of help with the business, but what if we already want to promote our business? Is that,
I think, so I'm a little bit unclear about what the booths are, but
Okay.
my understanding of what the booths are people, it's more like they talk to the people that came and taught that class today about setting up a booth. And the Innovation Hub will have a booth. It's more about, people that their job and what they're doing is intended to help small businesses, not so much promote your individual business. Or like USU would probably have a booth set up, or, but I'm not, you know, I'm not 100% sure. I know that there's some contact information on there of who to contact, because I'm not over any of that, but I haven't been in on the planning of anything. So they could tell you further. I think,
well, that's all right, I can track down. if I-
no, yeah, I know it's on here somewhere, because I seen something about, but it says vendor booths.
Yeah, as a promoter, you see a booth spot, you know, especially for
Right.
$20, you're like, oh.
Yeah, so maybe I
I
could
mean, not
try.
selling, just trying to promote business or
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thank you,
connections with
Jackson.
the
Good
city.
luck.
That was just my
Hey,
estimate. Say good luck.
If you want a note, feel free to take the notebooks and the pens on the tables if anybody wants.
These are awesome. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, I have a quick, okay,
Yes,
I can see the light, how it's gonna be here, it's gonna be the same light.
Yes.
Right?
it will be during the day, so it's brighter.
Right. And on the final, where the convention center is going to be lights also on the stage where we are going to be. Do we
It'll be
need
the
lights?
lighting that they do have in the convention center. I know they can do like 101 things with those lights, so
Can they do a spotlight?
I'm not sure.
So you don't know if we're on the stage or if we're down.
You
there
are on the stage,
And the judges are.
Great.
right? Yeah, because judges will be down below and you will be on the stage. From what I understood, actually.
Because
that
the
wasn't
other
like
day I
completely
went
clarified, I'm
to-
just assuming. I know you were on the stage.
Good, some of the stuff is fairly heavy, it might be hard without that.
Yeah. There will be the stairs here on the top of the stage.
So which one is it as you go in out there? I was there the other day and they seem to have, as you go in to the right, is that room there? Is that?
Right when you go in, it will be that big open room. And I think I know that we're gonna meet with the stage guy. When the conference center, we just barely talked to them last week about getting with them on laying out the room. So I should know that information before the final, that I can let